Year 7, welcome back. I hope that your lessons with me taking them have been going okay so far. Remember, I'm always on to show my homework if you do need anything. Well done, because most of you have uploaded the consequences question that I wanted you to upload, and I think most of you have completed the quiz as well. So just a reminder, if you haven't done that, and I do have a couple of people that haven't, please make sure you submit that today, as well as any work that you do on today's lesson. Because I'm going to record that mark, and that will be like if someone asks me how you're doing with the home learning, that'll be the mark that I give them. So please make sure that you are uploading that to show my homework. Okay, so we are done with the tutors now. We're going to move on to a new topic, which is the English Civil War. So Elizabeth I has died, and she doesn't have any heirs. She didn't have any children. So what they do is they ask her cousin, who is currently King of Scotland, to come and be King of England. Now, Scotland and England aren't part of the United Kingdom at this time, so they have separate kings and queens. So he is James VI of Scotland, and then he becomes James I of England. So we're mainly going to focus on James' son Charles, and he ended up at the end of the Civil War causing so much damage, so much argument between people, that he ended up being executed for his crimes, for being disloyal to the people of England. So how did this all begin is what we're going to do today. So for any of you that don't know, a civil war is a war with people of the same country. So two different groups, both from England, fighting each other. Now, when Charles came to power, he had lots of ideas about how he should govern the country, and he believed in something called the divine right of kings, and that meant that you were appointed by God to be the king. So he thought he was the bee's knees. He was, very full of himself, essentially. So this causes problems, because not only the king can't rule on his own anymore. Maybe a few hundred years before, the king could kind of do what he liked, but now in this time period, Parliament are also very powerful, and Charles argues a lot with his Parliament. At one point he disbands them, so he's like, no, go home, I'm not calling Parliament anymore. And that carried on for 11 years, so he ruled 11 years with no Parliament. Another reason why they were angry with each other and people in England were upset with Charles is because he seemed to be very pro-Catholic. Now remember, there's still Catholics and Protestants living in England, and Elizabeth was primarily a Protestant, so there are more Protestants than Catholics. And Charles married a woman called Henrietta Maria from Spain, and she's a Catholic. And so people were like, mate, what are you doing? We just spent ages trying to not upset a Protestant queen, and now you want to be Catholic? So there was all sorts of arguments going on with that one. Another thing he did was he fell out with Parliament about money. So there was a thing called the ship tax, and he basically wanted to make people pay money to have a ship in England. And this was a law, but it was only you had to pay the money if there was a war on. At this point, there wasn't a war on, and he's still making people pay this ship tax. So that didn't exactly thrill people with joy either. And another point is also to do with Scotland. He introduces the English prayer book in Scotland, and basically the Scots are very unhappy about this. They don't want an English prayer book. Like I said, they're not actually part of England at this time, part of the United Kingdom, and so they're like, why are you trying to put our beliefs, put your beliefs in Scotland? We don't need that. We were fine before. And the Scots start an uprising against Charles. So really not looking good. He's definitely upset a lot of people. The Scots, Protestants. He's upset Parliament. He's upset people asking for money. So it's really not looking good for Charles. And these are all reasons why the Civil War started. And at the end of this, Charles basically declares war on Parliament. He's like, enough's enough, I don't like you, and we're going to go to war. And that is a summary of how the Civil War started. So, little introduction for you. That is what we're going to do today. And then we're going to get into more exciting things about the Civil War. So have a good day. See you later. Bye.